Welcome on back y'all to another Pokemon Pocket video. It's your boy Benny here, and we're like, I think 5 days away from ranked. So let's go ahead and talk through the best decks that I have like come about this week. And boy, there are some interesting developments to take place. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, click the notification bell button so you don't miss out on a thing. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So let's go ahead and take a look. As you can see here, we got plenty of players happening, right? Like look at these numbers, and you're going to see an interesting, when I say interesting trend, just take a look. Let's take a look and just remember what mega we all said was going to be the best, myself included. Look at this. Oh man. Oh, there we go. Okay, here goes another one. Bam. Okay, here we go. It's just so interesting to see where things fit and where things lie / like shake up with. So like what megas are fighting for the top spot, what megas are not there, and like what megas are just not even present, like at all. So let's go ahead and talk through just kind of like the top performers, as we have like just so much data to look through. First up here, we have this deck here that took first place, y'all. That's right, numero uno in one of the tournaments that we just saw. Here we have a Mega Absol Darkrai deck that's featuring Greninja here. Channeling is probably the best card out of this entire set. I can't believe that I'm saying that, but like it is providing so much restriction. You now have to play around this card similarly to like maybe not the same levels of Lucario, but like, you know, if this thing doesn't go down, then you can't evolve, and that's really great. We even highlighted this deck already on the channel. And going into opposing like Suicune players that usually have like their full draw, we had a Chingling and stopped that turn winning Greninja and then was able to flip it on the other side. So being able to deal damage between Rocky Helmet, Greninja, Darkrai gives you that extra energy that you need to really like boost up that Darkness Claw, because not only are you disrupting your opponent by removing the supporters, not only are you able to see their hand, you're also able to deal that massive damage as well too. And just even getting some chip off with here, just soften things up for either of these two's attacks. And with Copycat, you are going to get this. It's kind of crazy how this card here has made so many more decks more prominent, because you are allowed to be more consistent on your end, right? No longer does your opponent have a free draw at things with an Iono. And Iono only shuffled up how much you had in your hand, just being able to draw into what your opponent has. And so that way you can manage it in that way feels really good here, and just like feels a top supporter card for sure. And then we're going to continue on into Mega Altaria EX here. This seems to be settling in as like one of the top performing lists to be ran in. You have Swablu, you have Mega Altaria EX, you have the non-EX Altaria here to deal with any Oricorios. You have your two Chinglings, your Jirachi, your NDDD EX here, your Lisias to draw out all of your basics except for NDDD EX. You have your Copycat to find out all of your other pieces here, but it's like whichever way you draw it, you are going to have basics here. The Jirachi is super great to soften things up for your Altaria, but to take out opposing babies. I think that's really nice that you have an answer for anywhere on the board, or even putting enough pressure onto those other basics that are looking to evolve, right? Like it being able to, that's why Blaziken, which we'll talk about later, has incorporated Heat more instead of Entei. While that draw power is really nice, you being able to target their backline, softening things up, putting things into range. Jirachi does that for you for one energy, and it does it anywhere across the board, not just the backline. Makes it really great here. And then of course you get your free healing, right? Like NDDD EX is such a great supporter mon. If you can run two psychics, if you're running psychic energy, you always want to have at least one copy in there. So overall, this has also been winning, and it just makes sense. We then continue to see a switch over here. Like this is kind of funny. Suicune EX and Greninja is still making waves here, but there are two different variants here. But if you'll notice that folks are dropping the Giratina, and I just think that folks are running into an issue where like Giratina just might be a little too slow in order for them to be able to take advantage of it. And while we had a meta where you could do that, you not necessarily are able to wait with Mega Altaria, right? Like you're not able to necessarily wait with Mega Absol, right? Giving up a turn to then charge up your backline to then have a potential attacker doesn't make sense. So you want to stay low to the ground in terms of your energy, in terms of what you're using. And so this is where this comes in really strong here. So this deck is running 2 Suicune EXs, 2 Greninja EXs. That's where you're kind of pivoting between all your water starters. You're literally keeping NDD EX on the bench to power up your Suicune and to continuously heal that front line. That 20 plus health here is super important every single time. And then from here, this variation is running the Frogadier in place, and then you're running 2 non-EX Greninjas and then 1 Greninja EX. We're really just using that Greninja EX for the shifting stream support, also the extra damage of 100, where the damage does fall off with Suicune EX, right? If your opponent is choosing not to play their basics out and you don't get advantage with this, you do know at least you have 100 or 80 even between the two of these. So either way, still very strong. It's interesting to see Copycat still even in like a Suicune EX kind of deck, because you're literally pulling cards. So I don't know how often that you're gonna start or you're gonna have less cards than your opponents, but who knows? I mean, you throw it in here and like if it works out, it works out. But if you find that you're typically drawing more, I would always lean towards having a second Irida. But this deck is running 2 of them, so who knows, right? For this deck, maybe Copycat could be Mars or something else like that. But if you find that you're always having your hand larger than the other, then we move on to some more Absol EX shenanigans. And again, looking at this, like we're evolving here this week, right? Like we're finding the importance of being able to attack this backline, and you have a really strong price point present here in kind of price map. It's similar to the Altaria build, right? Noticing that like you have non-EXs that are all various HPs that do specific things, and you kind of having a smaller version of this in that Absol deck. So if you take a look here, we have Absol, Leap Over, Jingling Noise here. The Leap Over here is to do that 30 damage. You have your Hydreigon to do that powerful damage here, and you can clean up with Mega Absol EX later. In a perfect world, you don't even need to attack with Mega Absol EX, right? Like you're putting out that high point damage, which your Hydreigon, they run away after you have double Cyrus here. You just grab Absol and just attack right away. Like this is very, very strong because you can attack in all fronts. You have powerful attacks, and then you also have the disruption in both of these cards here. We continue into a Magnezone Oricorio deck featuring Jingling, our favorite Pokemon Pocket card. This is a lightning deck that gets to take advantage of Oricorio, not just as a wall, but also as a chip damage here. You have your giant capes primarily for your Magnezones to jump up to 160, but if you're going against any dark right ping, so your Pokemon Center Lady and your giant capes can have you live a lot longer than what your opponent would expect you to, being able to generate that energy into Magneton, so that way you can dedicate all offensiveness to your Oricorios. And trust me, we've tried this deck out as well, having to go through 2 Oricorios, being on the receiving end and also being on the end that's playing this, is very difficult to deal with. By the time that you finally match with one, your board state is left into a place where Magnezone hitting you for 110 and then having to deal with 160 health to get through that. Boy, oh boy, you have your hands full here. So there's just so many different ways to slow down your opponent between these 3 cards, but then also to provide powerful attacking between your Magnezones. And the crazy part, and we live in this world where we're just seeing Megas and EXs, it's a non-EX full deck here, right? Like there's nothing, all of them are 3 stars or less. And that's it. That is your piece here. And so they have to go through 3 Pokemon, which makes this a really strong contender. We then continue off into another strong lightning deck here that really does take good use of the energy, right? Luxray is a powerful card. We just talked about Oricorio and all the shenanigans that it pulls. Zeraora in this deck allows you to generate that lightning energy, and then being able to not necessarily move it around with Elemental Switch, but being an initial attacker. You have to, if it gets knocked out, your Volkner is now procced for your Luxray to then attack. Both of these Luxrays are really strong. 2 energy, 110 attack. Cool, yes, you do damage to your bench Pokemon, but you're just going. You're feeding here, right? Luxray, Volt Bolt, super strong here. You hit 120 anywhere on the board. You are, like, let's say you have your Zeraora, you're building up your Luxray in the back here or doing something else, or they have Megas and they can't really get through to your Oricorio. There are plenty of games where I have been able to go 1, 2, 3, attack, Volkner, attack, Volkner, attack, game is done. In a world of Megas, they don't survive 2 Volt Bolts, no matter what. Right? So that's strong in of itself to be able to hit that 120, and you have 130 HP. So if you need to retreat, both of these retreat for free, so you're not really losing energy here. So that's really great. And when these do get knocked out, they just feed your discard pile, which then feeds your Volkner. So you're living life. And then the last card, last deck that I'm going to put up here is Mega Blaziken. So as we saw, it has been taking a lower stance here, right? Like, we're seeing the top decks being filled with Mega Altaria, Mega Absol, we're seeing Suicunes, and then here comes a Blaziken. Same for here, got to scroll down a little bit to see the first one. Same here again. But like, they're still doing well. It's not like they're horrible, but they're up there. So if you want to play fire, if you like Mega Blaziken, you can do that and still feel pretty good about it, okay? So this here is kind of one of the best versions that you're going to have. You are running your full line here, your 2 Torchic, 1 Combuskin, 2 Mega Blazikens, your 2 Rare Candies to help support that. To avoid all the Shiggly and Oddsets, you have your Heatmores to then target the back here. You have double Cyrus to ensure that nobody's running away from you. Heatmore, softening things up against previous Evos is really strong, or even weakening down Megas, right? Like, if you know that they're building up to a Mega, aka Mega Altaria, being able to Heatmore once, twice before they get an NDD going feels really good. The Lily here to keep you sustained. They might think that they have the advantage of you on chip damage, but that 60 health goes a long way. Consistency, you know the deal here, but it is a powerful card in and of its own right. But the other cards being lower to the ground, right? Mega Absol doesn't need any support, it's just a basic. Mega Altaria being just a stage 1, so it's just 1, 2, right? Like, you can throw them a whatever. This needing basic Rare Candy, Mega Blaziken, or basic Combuskin. There's even just that extra card, that extra turn to possibly get you to this could make the difference in a lot of these matchups. And sometimes that's kind of like how it plays down. Did I get to my Mega Blaziken fast enough? Because if you do, your output damage is stronger than the other ones, right? Like Mega Blaziken does have the strongest attack currently, so that does put you in a tighter spot because you do need that additional card to get there. However, this still is a very good deck. This still is a very strong deck, and you're gonna do well in your ranked ladder if you'd like to do this as well. So let me know, y'all, what has been your favorite deck out of all of these to see, what has been surprising to you as well. These are all very interesting and things I'm like really truly excited to try myself. And as always, y'all, if you enjoy the vibes of this channel, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and the notification bell button so that you don't miss out on a thing. All right, until next one, peace.